Welcome to the Vortex.
You said your name is Donessa Echols.
Yes.
So, where does this name come from?
My mother liked the name Vanessa, and my father's name was Don, so she named me Donessa.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, what I was thinking, I heard about you, about what you do, but how you get that? How can you explain your work?
What I do, and what was my motivation for it? What I do basically is I work as a spiritual teacher, like some people call life coach, that kind of thing. I do spiritual healing. I have psychic and mediumistic ability, but I only use it in a healing way, not in a fortune-telling way. So, and the reason I do is because it's such an incredible tool that we all have. And so if I teach people to use it themselves, then they don't rely on me to get the answer, because it's not really coming from me anyway. So, but what motivates me to do what I do and how I got to begin this practice is that I grew up in a home that was filled with love and talent and beauty and lots and lots of children. I'm the seventh of seven. And amazing parents, hardworking, incredible parents, but it was also riddled with lots of chaos as well, lots of tragedy. My father had suffered from bipolar disorder, and my mother had come from, he had come from a very rough childhood. My mother also came from a very tough upbringing. And these were two people who wanted to love so badly, but didn't have the best example of how to let go. Exactly, and to let go of fears and habits, and nobody gave them that manual. So with all this other stuff, what came was a lot of chaos. And so there was emotional abuse and physical abuse, and once my parents finally, there was so much going on. Finally, they did divorce when I was about 8 years old, and then it was very difficult, very difficult. And then when I was about 12 years old, my father was murdered, actually, by his girlfriend. And so here's lots of conflicting messages.
Oh, I feel this energy. Oh.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was luckier than you because I come from a family of 10 children. I am the seventh. People say I'm on denial. We never had any fight, nothing, never. It seems like I hear people talking that I come from another planet.
Right, because you don't know that pain.
Yeah, the struggle to raise a family, and then, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a blessing, really, you can heal from that. You can help others heal. Because you do know that kind of love.
I do talk a lot with young people.
Excellent.
So because myself, I have healing work. I know myself, and I have young people, and I can see the way they go in life with boyfriend, girlfriend. I told them, boyfriend, girlfriend doesn't exist to me. You don't go to bed with your girlfriend, you go with your boyfriend. Someone loves you. You have a lover with someone, a fiancé or something.
Right.
And the word boyfriend, girlfriend, we don't use that in France.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Lover. You use lover.
Lover, your little, they say also copain, ton petit copain, but doesn't mean the same thing, it's different.
Right. And it is. It's conflicting. It's just like when I was saying that, there's these conflicting messages that we get. Like for me, that was a conflicting message that I got, that this was someone that, these were two people who loved each other, but yet they were hurting each other, and they were hurting us as well, their children that they loved as well. And that same kind of feeling like my father's girlfriend when he shot and killed my father, and that she loved him.
But the karma they must have together. We don't know the karma, something right. We don't know of.
Absolutely, absolutely. But at that age, I didn't understand karma, and I was 12. You know, I didn't understand karma. I didn't understand anything about emotions. All I knew was I was in pain, and I wanted to be anywhere other than where I was. And all I did was think about being out of this world, and I was very suicidal from the beginning, probably 12 on, suicidal and angry, very, very angry. And I didn't really have someone to communicate that to, or someone to really give me that kind of instruction on how to let that go. And so this life began for me, or I began living this life where I learned to just shut down and push away, and then add on top of that the fact that I already had psychic ability, or I was experiencing the psychic ability.
What age that started?
Well, I have memories from when I was very little of seeing spirit, but when I don't remember many things before the age of 12, like obviously when my father was murdered, there was such a strong impact, and so lots of things I remember start from that moment forward. But I do remember being one day laying in bed, and my father had passed, and I remember I was like halfway awake, halfway asleep, and he was at the end of my bed, and I sat up, and I was sitting on my knees, and I had my arms out to him, and I said, he looked at me and he said, "I love you," and I had my arms out to him, just reaching out to him, and then my mom came into the room, and it was gone. But what I realized in that moment was that this was the way my father was going to come to me, because, you know, a parent would never want to scare you or anything like that, so I knew it was going to be in that, for me, what I called like a dream-like state, so it would be halfway awake, halfway asleep. And so this is when I started to experience that. But what I didn't fully understand was what I was doing is I was picking up on everyone's emotions. I was picking up on, when I would walk into a room, I could feel the tension in the room, or I could feel something that had happened with maybe somebody sitting in the corner. I just knew that there wasn't something quite right about the situation. I felt it intensely. And but when you're young and you don't understand it, it's overwhelming and it's scary. It felt very overwhelming.
You feel lonely.
Very. That is
because you cannot share.
Way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was living in a small town. 1,400 people was the town I grew up in. And yeah, exactly.
There was a you cuckoo.
Yeah, and so, exactly. So not only did I, feel different, but I didn't feel like I could express. Here was another thing that I felt like I couldn't express to someone else or talk to someone else.
Yeah.
So, I was the only one experiencing this trauma in this small town, and then I was the one.
You feel separate. You could not connect.
Separate.
You could not be part of the...
Absolutely. I felt completely disconnected. And that set up a pattern. And so I continued on that pattern for a lot of my life. And my mother and I we were not getting along